Well, it's movie time again. You're tuned in, and I'm BATJAC JW. Well, we're talking about a movie. This time, as you probably already know by just the title and everything, The French Connection 2. And some of you may or may not even know there was a French Connection 2. I'm a huge fan of the original French Connection. Of course, I mean, you got two mega stars right there. Of course, Gene Hackman and what I always felt, the underdog, Roy Scheider. Roy Scheider is just an amazing actor and really does not get the credit that he deserves. So there was a sequel to this film, and it's The French Connection 2 by John Frankenheimer. He directed it. This film, in its sense, it stands alone. It really does. It stands alone as its own. You could almost watch this movie without ever have seen The French Connection. Because the story is pretty laid out for you. Now, of course, spoiler alert, everybody. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to go watch it before you listen to our chat radio here on The French Connection 2. So I'll give you a moment there to stop the... Gene Hackman reprising as his role as Popeye Doyle, the hard-nosed New York detective determined to break that French drug ring and everything. So let's see, when did this actually come out? So I believe in 1975, so not too much longer after the first one. It's really cool. I really like this movie. It's really different because now the first thing, the really neat thing is you see the cultural differences. So you have this American, gung-ho, dirty Harry kind of cop getting tossed into France. So it's like, whoa. So he's there, the language barrier. I mean, everything you can possibly imagine encountering. He's down to food. The food part is my favorite of the whole bit. Is the food? He's like, I want a cheeseburger, a lot of blood running out of it, and all this, and they give it to him, and it's like, he's like, what is this? He goes, you cremated the thing. Where's the mayonnaise? And they're like, what? Mayonnaise? He's like, yeah, mayonnaise. So he's it's kind of really interesting. And the other thing is the other guy, I believe his name is Bernard Friesen. I'm probably pronouncing his name totally wrong, but he plays the French cop that's helping him, and the relationship between those two, the chemistry, is really amazing, and you can always tell that's what makes a good movie like that that works. Like, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon. The chemistry works. There's something about the way they play off each other that makes that just amazing. So the French Connection 2, Gene Hackman's character and the French, I'm drawing a blank here. I can't even think of his name. Bartlemy. I believe that's what he calls him, Bartlemy. And right away he lands, he's looking for him. They're like, oh, he's down there. He's getting hard time trying to find him. And there they are. They're cutting fish open, trying to find drugs in the fish. And the guy shakes, Gene Hackman's hand. Of course, you got that fish blood and all kinds of disgusting stuff all over your hand. Santi, if you're listening to this, that would be the joy. But anyway, he's got all that stuff all over his hand. And then you can see he goes to shake somebody else's hand, and the guy has not gotten his hands dirty, and you watch him, he grabs that guy's hand and just gives it a good one, just to smear all that stuff all over the other guy's hand. But, there's that friction between them two. There's that, that constant banging heads, all the way through. He puts him. He's got his first. He's got his file. He's reading it, and he's like, Gene Hackman comes up. He goes, "You got my file and the the bathroom here, and he goes, that's a nice touch, kind of all the way down to that, and then him putting his office, his makeshift office per se, which is just a table and a chair and a telephone, next to the bathroom in the police station. So all day long where he's sitting and working, Gene Hackman's character's got the people going in and out of the bathroom. Yeah. So Gene Hackman going through the whole bit, and one of my, of course, I love this scene. They take him along on a raid or something, and he says, Bartlemy goes, "You carry no gun, right?" And he says, he goes, "You read my file." He goes, "Nope, no gun." And they go on the raid and everything. So he goes back to his little room or hotel, wherever he's staying. And, here he is eating, what? A Hershey's bar. An American Hershey bar. So there he is eating his Hershey bar and takes a razor blade, slits open the lining of his suitcase. And what does he pull out of there? Yep, you know it. Smith & Wesson Model 36 square butt J-frame 38 special snubby. That's right. Brand new, by the way. If you watch the movie, look at it. It's just like the bluing on it just is like shiny as ever, and the grips, you can tell this is a brand new pistol. That revolver, beautiful. Pulls out a pack of old school Winchester ammunition there in that classic like yellow orange kind of box. Really neat. So he loads it up, sticks in his ankle holster. Right away that sets the tone. I think that takes place within like the first half an hour of the movie. Now, Hackman actually gets caught. He gets caught by the main guy from the French Connection 1. The main guy, I forget what they call him, but Chenier. That's it, Chenier. And he captures him, and they turn him into a junkie. They actually start doping up Hackman, and they, trying to, get information from him, trying to see what he knows. Well, after all that, I think it's like in the movie, they held him captive and turned him into a junkie for 3 weeks. So, and I know, when I first read that in the movie, I was like, oh man, that sounds horrible. I don't know if I want to watch this. But you know what? This movie became easily one of my top list movies. So, Bartlemy, when the Chenier and his henchmen are done with him, they wind up doping him up good with probably a lethal dosage, hoping he'd die. And they toss him, they drive by and they do the old suicide door, but dump the body kind of jersey, and then the French cops get him and they take him in, and Bartlemy, being the good friend he is, tries to get him fixed up and not report it, not put it on the books, because he says hey, I'm just a junkie cop now. So the whole process of him getting clean, kicking that stuff, and it's kind of neat because they're going back and forth again with the food. And he's like, he's going through his withdrawals, so he's doing his the whole aggressive stick, and he's like, I want my Hershey bar. He's like, and not that stuff you've been feeding me. I want my real Hershey bar with the nuts in it. He's like, I know you got it in the office. He's like, Henry, I know you got it up there. And he's like, who would know? So it's really kind of fun how you get to see the whole. And again, they're hat tip to Gene Hackman because he just really plays the role. Now, stopping here for a second, just to point out something. You have a movie that is trying to, you're making a sequel to a film that is like a classic. You don't want to, it's so difficult to decide to do this. And here you have a director that, he's like, I don't know if I want to even do this. And then I don't know how they got Gene Hackman to agree to do it again. But just all of the odds that were stacked against it, I think it just really turned out to be a good movie. And I know a lot of opinions vary, and that's why I try not to go too much with what people say about certain movies, because there's a lot of movies that I really wound up liking and that people thought were horrible. And it's mostly like either I looked at it for the entertainment value, the sense of humor in it. One of them I remember was it's called Stand Up Guys. It came out not too long ago. It's got Al Pacino, Christopher Walken, Alan Arkin, and everybody just like deemed it like this is the worst movie ever made. Like what these guys are like zombies walking through it. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I mean I don't know, Then I watched it again, and then I watched it again, and now it's one of my favorite movies. It's so funny. There's just something about it. It's funny. I finally got the sense of humor in it, but like this one here, it probably doesn't have, I'm not sure what the ratings or how it holds up, but like I said, I didn't even know that they did this. I wound up coming across this film just on accident, really, and wound up going, wow, really? The French Connection 2 and Gene Hackman's in it? I thought, well, how could it be, I don't know, maybe it's bad or good, and honestly, I paid like $7 for it. So this was one of those that slipped by me that does not it's not from the VHS days. I did not know, I was not aware of the film. So anyhow, they he gets back into shape, and now he's back on the hunt to take down Chenier, and he's going to go at it full bore. And now the relationship at this point between Hackman's character and Henry, the police officer, the French cop, Barthélemy, they have this relationship. They're bonding together, and then he realizes, Hackman realizes that his own police team sent him over there, knowing that he could probably get bumped off or killed. He was in a sense, he was set up by his own. So there's this relationship. He realizes that out there that Barthélemy, Henry, is actually his friend. He actually cares about him. So it's an interesting tale. I really do. I think it. And then Hackman winds up saving him because they get flooded out and a log falls on his head, and it could have drowned. But the relationship between the two definitely works. I thought the film was really well done. If you're looking for a ton of action, not necessarily there, not like full horsepower, pedal to the metal action like the first one, where you get that epic, car chase and all that. This is just different in its own level, and I think it's really good, and I like the movie a lot. So if you haven't checked it out, give it a chance, and go ahead and pop it into VCR or DVD player these days. Gene Hackman, French Connection 2, directed by John Frankenheimer. I'm BATJAC JW. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.